What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I am back with a video where this time once again, we're looking at the NBA media and expose some of their worst takes of the week. And for today's video, we're looking at ESPN, specifically First Take and their guest analyst. Now for this video today, we're looking at superstar Steph Curry, debunk some narratives, and some really big myths surrounding his career. So with that being said, let's not waste any time and get right into the video. Now, the first Steph Curry hot take we're going to look at comes from Jay Williams, a frequent guest on First Take. In this upcoming clip, you're going to see Jay make some pretty big claims about Steph Curry as well as Ja Morant.
Jay, who would you rather have down the stretch? Would it be Steph Curry or Ja Morant?
So, Steph Curry is the best three-point shooter of all time, the greatest shooter that I think the game has ever seen. But I think it's important to decipher these moments between clutch and the greatest shooter that we've ever seen. Because typically, when you're in clutch moments, you're facing double teams, and the degree of difficulty with the shots become way more drastic, right? So when you look at the numbers for this year, Stephen Curry shooting 32% from the field in clutch moments, 19% from the three-point line in clutch moments. Now, I know the body of work for Ja Morant is not at the same sample size that it is for Steph Curry, right? We've seen Steph Curry win championships. We've seen him in big-time playoff games. We just saw Ja Morant make it to the playoffs for the first time in his career last year.
So stopping the clip right there, let's look at Jay Williams' major points. First off, he says Steph Curry is the best shooter of all time. I agree with that. Also, he says being the best shooter doesn't make you the most clutch player in NBA history or even the NBA. That, once again, I agree with. Now, where I really disagree is his third point in saying Ja Morant is the better overall clutch player. And Jay Williams, to his credit, he brings up stats that being clutch time scoring lasts 5 minutes a game within 5 points. Looking at just the 2022 season, both these players' clutch stats are pretty even. Steph averages 3.3 points per game on 38, 32, 94 splits, with a plus-minus of -1. Ja averages 3.5 points per game on 41, 30, and 78 splits with a plus-minus of 12. Only looking at those stats right there is definitely pretty even, and you can make a pretty strong argument for Ja being the better overall clutch player in the last 5 minutes. And I think Jay Williams in that clip actually answers his own question in regards to who's the more clutch player. At the end of that clip, he clearly says Steph Curry has a way bigger sample size than Ja Morant. Once again, that is 100% true, and I agree with Jay. And I think him saying that, he answers his own question to who's the more clutch player. And once again, looking at the stat argument, let's expand the scope to the last 2 years with fourth quarter scoring. Looking at both these players, Steph Curry averages 6.7 points per game on 46, 40, 92 splits with a plus-minus of 140. Ja averages 5.1 points per game on 45, 27, and 75 splits with a plus-minus of -37. Once again, both these players' stats are pretty impressive, but Steph Curry has a pretty big edge on Ja. So I say that to say this. When looking at two players, you have to expand the scope. We're talking about clutch time arguments or fourth quarter scoring. Only looking at a 50-game sample size, it can be pretty misleading, and the stats can be skewed by fourth quarter playing time or how close the games are at end of games. And one thing I do want to highlight very quickly is Steph Curry's fourth quarter stats from 2015 to 2019. Looking at this pretty broad sample size, Steph Curry every year was top 5 in fourth quarter playoff scoring. In 2015, he was first, 2016, he was fourth, 2017, fifth, 2018 second, and 2019 once again first. In total for that stretch, he averaged 6.8 points per game on pretty impressive 49, 45, and 98 splits. Among other NBA superstars, he was second in fourth quarter scoring during this time period.
But there is something about the clutch gene for me. Now, Stephen A., there's no statistics that can prove this will be better, but there is something about his ability to create shots off the dribble and his ability to finish at the rim. I think the variety because of the versatility in the ways he can score, right? Off the bounce, the dynamic ability he has to finish over the top of people, how he's able to knock down the three better this year than he has before, is Ja Morant. I just think Ja Morant he has a slight edge for MVP for me.
So stopping the clip right there, Jay Williams says Ja Morant, there's just something about him that he creates shots for teammates. His offensive versatility is so much better. I find that take pretty alarming, as Steph Curry offensively creates numerous shots for his teammates. When talking about a player's gravity, Steph Curry in NBA history has probably the best gravity of all time. He gets double teamed, triple teamed, and in the fourth quarter clutch time moments, defenses sometimes are solely focused on stopping Steph Curry. Ja Morant in his own right, he's fantastic, he's athletic, he's a great fourth quarter clutch time player. But when talking about Steph Curry, he can shoot the three, the deep three, the floater, the mid-range, he can get to the line, make free throws, he's a great passer, facilitator. I mean, if you want to find a player in the fourth quarter who can virtually do everything offensively, Steph Curry at the point guard checks every single box.
But for him to have this team in a position to be third best in the NBA, only a game or two behind the Golden State Warriors. And I think you're starting to see the Golden State Warriors without Draymond Green. How much that means to this team is a huge loss in Steph's ability to get his shot off in those clutch moments due to his passing ability. I look at what Ja Morant is doing with Memphis, and I look at the components they have around him, I look at the way and the moxie he's played with this year. I would pick Ja Morant over Stephen Curry right now for clutch moments to get it done down the stretch.
Now, stopping the clip right there, let's make one thing pretty clear. Ja Morant this year in isolation is having a better overall season than Steph Curry. But when looking at the player's overall resume, what they bring to the table, I would still take Steph over Ja in clutch time play. Because Steph Curry, once again, he's proven, he's won championships, and he's hit big shots in playoff games. Ja Morant's playoff resume is a 5-game sample size versus Utah Jazz. Steph Curry in his career has 5 finals appearances. And speaking of those finals runs, let's look at Steph's clutch time scoring from 2015 to 2019. Once again, these stats are pretty darn impressive, as Steph in 2015 was second clutch time scoring, 2016 he was first, 2017 he was fourth, 2018 he was sixth, and 2019 he was 7th. All those years, he was top 10 in playoff clutch time scoring, and in total averaged 4.4 points per game on insane 51-50 and 97 splits. That right there for Steph Curry, his overall playoff clutch time resume. Once again, Ja is fantastic, he's great. When it comes to playoffs, Steph Curry still is more proven and better in the biggest moments.
Due to Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, those pieces that help Stephen Curry in those moments because it relieves the pressure. And what I'm saying is on the Memphis side, if you're telling me you're talking about guys like Desmond Bane, even though he's playing well, Mallet, if you're talking about Jaren Jackson, if you're talking about slow-mo relieving the pressure for Ja Morant, the ball's in Ja Morant's hands all the damn time. He's making plays left and right. Now, I'm not saying that diminishes Stephen Curry's ability to make plays. Right. I'm just saying I think it's interesting with this argument because can you take me through a list of those clutch moments that really make you trust Steph Curry down the clutch?
2015 Game 3 versus the Pelicans, he had 40 points, the game-tying 3, and the game-tying go-ahead 3, including 17 points in the fourth quarter, as well as OT. 2015 Finals versus Cleveland, Game 3, he had 17 points in the fourth quarter on 70% shooting. At the same series in Game 5, once again had 17 points in the fourth quarter on 71% shooting. Looking at 2016 versus Portland in Game 4, he had 17 points in overtime, an NBA record, on 86% shooting. 2016 Western Conference Finals, Game 7 versus Oklahoma City, he had 15 points in the fourth quarter on 83% shooting. And in 2019 versus Houston in Game 6, he had 23 in the fourth quarter on 75% shooting. That right there for Steph Curry is some big-time clutch playoff moments. And once again, I find it pretty funny that Jay Williams holds Steph Curry to this crazy standard, when Ja Morant, unlike Steph Curry, has virtually no clutch playoff moments. Now, looking past Jay Williams, the next First Take co-host we have is Mad Dog Russo, a new addition to First Take, with some pretty outlandish and terrible opinions about one Steph Curry.
They won 3 championships. He wouldn't have won 2 of them if it wasn't for Durant. Durant won 2 of those titles for him. The one championship they won, he wasn't the MVP. Iguodala was. And if Kyrie and Love didn't get hurt, they were down 2-1. They wouldn't have beat David Blatt and LeBron with Antoine Jameson as a power forward. They wouldn't have won that series.
And stopping the clip right there, that's 3 back-to-back-to-back awful takes. First up, Kevin Durant. He came to Golden State, not vice versa. Steph Curry and the team he built is the reason KD has 2 championship rings. And it is pretty shocking. In 2022, we saw the Steph Curry Finals MVP narrative. Look at Steph Curry in that series and how much better he was than Andre Iguodala. Steph averaged 26 points per game, 6.3 assists, 5.2 boards on 44, 39, and 89 splits. He led Golden State in points, assists, as well as 3-pointers made. And after being down 2-1, in games 4 through 6, Steph Curry amped his play up, averaging 28 points per game, 6.3 assists, 5.0 boards on 49, 45, and 86 splits. Andre Iguodala, he was a great role player and a great defensive player. But I think it's widely known Steph Curry was robbed of the 2015 Finals MVP. And in regards to the injury comments of Caleb and Kyrie, injuries are part of the game and it happens. Look at the 2016 Finals and you can make excuses all you want. Draymond in Game 5, he was suspended. Andre Iguodala had full body back spasm. Steph earlier in the playoffs had a knee injury, and Andrew Bogut wasn't playing in Game 7. The injury excuse at this point is gotten old, it's tiring, as once again injuries, they happen, and they're part of the game.
Mad Dog, I'd like to start with you, sir.
Yeah.
Does Steph Curry have more to prove this season?
To me, he does. Now, I know
What?
Steve probably... Well, can I talk? Can I talk?
It's a little crazy,
I
but
know
yeah.
Steve. I know Stevie probably wants to put him top 10 all the time. I'll buy that. He's not a top 10 player, but that's what Steve wants. He's a great Hall of Fame player, and he's transformational with the way he plays. But let's look at Curry in the big game.
Now, stopping the clip right there, let's make one thing crystal clear. Steph Curry in 2022 has absolutely nothing to prove. He's a 3-time champion, 2-time MVP, the all-time leader in threes made, and one of the most influential players in NBA history who's single-handedly changed the game of basketball. Now, looking at Russo's last point, he wants to look at Steph Curry in the quote-unquote big game, the big-time moments. Now, I do assume that is the NBA Finals, so look at Steph Curry and his Finals resume. In total, in 5 Finals appearances, he averaged 26.5 points per game, 6.2 assists, 5.7 boards on 42, 39, and 93 splits. From an all-time standing, he is 10th in scoring and 1st in 3-pointers made. And looking at individual final series, in 2019, he averaged 30.5 points per game, 2018, 27.5, 2017, 26.8, and 2015, 26.0. How can you look at that player and come to the conclusion that isn't a good performer in the NBA Finals on the biggest stage? And even going more in depth, let's look at 2 Steph Curry Finals series, that being 2015 as well as 2018. And what I want to look at is fourth quarter scoring. Steph in the 2015 Finals in the fourth quarters averaged 10.8 points per game on 55, 50, and 92 splits. In 2018, once again, averaged 10.8 points per game on 45, 63, and 100 splits. In NBA history, both those series are tied for second among fourth quarter scoring. Once again, for the final time, Steph Curry, he's good in the clutch, and the NBA Finals is phenomenal in the fourth quarters and in money time.
He's fun to watch. He's a wonderful shooter, unbelievable ball handler. We all know he's an all-time great. But immortality is what I'm talking about. And right now, in my eyes, as a sports fan, when you tell me 30 years from now, well, is Stephen Curry an immortal? I look at championships, the big spots, I'm saying no.
So stopping the clip right there, I don't want to be insulting or disparaging to older NBA fans, but this guy right here is a classic boomer take that makes absolutely no sense. Steph Curry, this guy said already, is transformational and a Hall of Fame player. And think about NBA history, which player changed the game more than Steph Curry? You'd be hard-pressed to find anyone. And speaking of immortality, what really matters is popularity. And Steph Curry to this day is top 3 at worst in that category. And if he thinks fans 10, 20 years from now are going to forget about Steph Curry and not have him as an immortal great, he's simply wrong and mistaken. As once again, Steph changed the game like no other player.
Games, okay? I'll never forget that. But getting back to Steph Curry, I'm going to challenge you again. Immortal status. The greatest shooter in the history of basketball.
I agree. We know that.
Who's a 2-time
All right.
league MVP and a 3-time champion.
Well, let me ask,
and you're
where you
telling me
putting
he
him?
has something to prove?
Where you putting him all the time then? You're going to make him a top 10 player? He's not a top 10 player. Where you putting him all the time?
You know what? I got to think about that. I think he could be.
No, he's not.
I think he
Are
could
you
be.
kidding
Yes, I
me?
do.
And stopping the clip right there, that was our final point and the overall wrap on this segment. And to end it, the guy actually had a pretty good take, which is that Steph Curry is not a top 10 player in NBA history. In my personal book, I have him top 15, and most NBA fans think I'm overrating him. Having him top 10 is really pushing the envelope, as once again Steph, he's a great player, but from an overall resume standpoint, he's not better than Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, Magic, Bird, Shaq, Kobe, Duncan, Wilt, or even Bill Russell. Now, with that being the final point, that is the end of the video. And once again to restate, Steph Curry, he's an all-time great, and the clutch time situations is pretty underrated. As always, thank you guys for watching this video, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.